The next car is in. Now this one is a classic. This has been in like 2 or 3 other videos. We've been working on this guy's car. Just a flashback, he was the one that brought us the, what kind of bread was that? Mango bread?
Yeah.
It was
bread.
It was bread. It was the yummy, moist, ooh, so good. His wife made it. This is that guy. I would love to flash back to those videos, but let's be honest, the Dean now that is watching this, editing it, is going, you're out of your mind, Dean, you talking. So that's not gonna happen. What we're doing is changing out something that's already in here. Let's do 2 things. For one, Fernando's gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery, and the reason why he's gonna do that is the amplifier in there. He's gonna, not the whole battery, just our power wire running the battery. He's gonna disconnect that. Take a look real quick at our cool fuse holder that's mounted underneath here. Holding up rather nice. You guys always say, oh, it's plastic. This has been in here for like almost a year at this point. It's fine. Now in the back of the car here, we have this guy. This is the 9605 Pioneer 5-channel amplifier. Now what we've done in this car is we've put Rockford speakers up in here, in the doors. We took out the Pioneers. He had Pioneers in here. There was one guy that says, if he's already got Pioneers, why? Because these are better. We've road-killed this. We've road-killed this. We've road-killed the doors. He has P1s in here. These are coming out. That is coming out. Now for the same reason when these had the Pioneers in them, he took them out and put the Rockfords in there because he wants something better. That's just what you do. It's called upgrade. He's taking out the 9605 and we're gonna replace them with these 2 new T-Series amplifiers. These guys right here. We're gonna go with the 750.1 and the 400.4. Now they do make a 5-channel. The only difference is he wants to go with some P312. So we wanna go with the bigger sub amp. He wants to make sure he has plenty of power. He wants these things to go crazy. So the P1s are coming out so we can go with P3s. Cool, right? So these amplifiers are gonna go where that amplifier is. We don't have to run a new power wire or anything like that. Stinger makes this guy right here. This is an awesome distribution block. Basically what we have is 4 gauge here, 4 gauge here, power on one side, ground on the other, dual 8 gauge out here and here. So we can put this right where those 4 gauge are coming into the Pioneer amplifier, and then we can wire them off to each one of these because these only take an 8 gauge. That's cool. And of course we're gonna put in the PLC2 bass knob. So it's not like we don't have to do any wiring here. We do have to pull out the bass knob for this radio, so that is gonna be fun. We may not pull the wire because chances are good it is run through the car all tied up and bundled, and it's not that important. We're trading the amplifier back in because it was ours to begin with, so we're giving him some credit for that. So I'm not real worried about pulling out that wire because more than likely we test tape the whole thing up. There's no reason to destroy the test tape job just to get a $5 cable to destroy $20 worth of test tape. Something to think about. I'm gonna start unboxing these guys here. Fernando's gonna start getting the amplifier out of the car so we can start getting everything on, you know, come up with our plan of attack as far as how the wiring's gonna go. Sounds good. Ready, Fernando?
Sounds good.
As he ducks behind the trunk lid and we can't see him. All right, cool. Let's get started.
B-roll, 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 B-roll.
Sometimes manufacturers overthink things as far as, you know, how things are packaged or put together, and Stinger has really overthought how these packages, this is way too much for this guy. You have to show somebody this, it's like, no, I don't want to have to do this. So yeah, they know, but they've invested a ton of money in it, so they're gonna run with it. But this is the block here. You can put 4 gauge or 0 gauge into this. Pretty awesome. And then you can put 4 gauge or 8 gauge into this. And of course it has a cover. So we've used a lot of these with doing these amplifiers. Now this is the 750.1, look at that, 1039 watts. Now this is a constant power amplifier, which means that when you look at the ratings for it right here, we'll come over on the side, and it is a 500 by 1 at 4 ohm, is a 750 by 1 at 2 ohm, as well as a 750 by 1 at 1 ohm. That's what constant power is. So it doesn't matter whether it's 2 ohm or 1 ohm, we're getting the same power out of the amplifier. Rockford does that on a lot of their amplifiers. They call it CP. And of course, these amplifiers have the DD1 technology built into them, so that's why it comes with the cool disc and the instructions to set it up. Now at this point, we've done a bunch of these amplifiers, and it's still, look at the size. I have small hands. I mean, they're not huge. Look at this, man. Look at this. This is a 42 millimeter shoe. Look at that. Look at this. Look at how 1,000 watts. That's incredible. Now on this box, I always find it more amusing. This says actual size. Look at that. All right, so this guy here, 552 watts. Now what this one does, of course the boxes are different. Kind of not fun that way. There again, DD1 style technology, more harnesses. So here we go, 4 channel, 100 watts by 4 at 4 ohm, 100 watts by 4 per channel at 2 ohm. And then if you bridge this for whatever reason, it's 200 by 2. So 4 ohm, 2 ohm, doesn't matter, you're getting the 100 watts, which is great because most of the time with amplifiers, you know, the 4 ohm, which is 99% of the time how you're gonna be running it, they give you that lesser amount. And of course on the box, it's, you know, this is a 500 watt amplifier at 2 ohms. No one runs it that way, so that sucks. This doesn't matter. That 4 ohm rating, you're getting all that power. That's 100 watts. That's awesome. We've powered all kinds of things with this. I mean, we put T2 components on this thing, and it just, yeah. Don't let this size fool you. These guys do not play around. And now the nice thing about the 750.1 and the 404, they're the same size. So yeah, you're kind of getting the vibe that I like these amplifiers, and I do. I really like these amplifiers. This is a hit. This is a big hit. They've been out for a while, but because of Rockford lowering the price on them, we're happy. Now on the back of the amplifiers, we have the schematics. This is really nice, so you don't have to hunt. Minimal amount of paper inside the box here, as you saw. It's just like the instructions for the test disc, and then the burn-in sheet, and then they actually put stuff on the box. So there's no paper in these, but on the back of the amplifier you have the schematic for it, so that's really nice. It also gives you the lights to tell you what the heck is going on. The only downside to it is once you screw them down, your schematics are gone, but at least they're there. This is actually a throwback. A lot of amplifiers used to be designed this way back in the day, and Rockford was around back then, so one of the old guys probably says, just put it on the bottom of the amplifier like we used to do, and they said, that's a great idea. Fernando just got the mount out of the car. Let's grab it and see how we're gonna put these on there. All right, so this is the board we have to play with. So the RCAs all plug in on this side with the Pioneer and with these. These have these little pigtails right here, which for the most part are the one thing, if there was anything that would drive me crazy about this amplifier, it's these guys right here. What we've been doing lately to solve the nuts factor is we've actually been cutting this, soldering in length, then running this up behind the radio and using this as the full RCA. And it's been working great because we do a nice twisted pair. Sounds awesome. We don't have any issues with noise. In this case, we're not gonna have to do that because we're actually just going to do all the connection behind this amp board. They'll be out of the way and I won't have to look at them. And then the speaker wires come in through this right here. So we can either we'll probably put the highs amp here on the bottom, sub on the top. Now this hole was for the power wire, so this can go right here. Push this out as much as we can because we really don't have anything on this side to get in the way. And then we'll come off to these. This was the RCA. We're gonna run that around the back side, I think, on this. Actually, yeah, we're gonna run the RCA on the back side now, so we don't have to worry about that. This hole we won't be using. This will be the speaker. Actually, we'll probably move the speakers down to here so that we can just go like this, and then the sub wire can come through this hole so that we use all the holes up, and then we'll just zip tie. Well, you guys have seen how we do that, so we don't have to worry about that. So we have a plan, and that's usually the case. You always want to come up with a plan. We have it. Let's just go ahead and start doing this. As usual, when we do this, we're gonna cut to a cool time lapse. So this is all set and done. Everything is ready. Fernando's already wired in the speaker plugs. Instead of having him come through here and cross all this, we're just gonna have him come from behind, come through this hole that we drilled and plug into the amplifier, because we are gonna have to unplug and plug these to do the tuning. The sub is here, that's all set. So everything is attached. We did the pre-tune on it. For those of you guys that don't know what a pre-tune is, what we do is we make sure that this amp is set up for 4 channels instead of 2 channel. Default on this is 2 channels, so we're gonna make sure it's on 4 channel. We're gonna turn the high pass crossover on, and we're gonna set it to a minimum of 80 hertz. It's just for testing purposes. We're gonna do the same for the sub amp. We're gonna make sure the low pass filter's on if it needs to be selected. Put it at 80 hertz, and then the gains are all down on all of them. And that's just how we do it, so that when we first get it in and we do things like polarity testing and just making sure all the speakers work, there's some form of crossover engaged on the amplifier. That way we don't blow anything, you know, because sometimes you might get a little frisky and turn the volume up. There's some form of stopgap set up. Fernando's ready. He's gone ahead and he's soldered in these connectors already in the car, so he's gonna fish these through. We have the bass knob wire here that he's gonna run up forward, and that's really about it. So let's get this guy into the car. Done with the amplifiers. Fernando's got them in. I just put the new woofers in the box. We ended up going with P2s instead of P3s. You just couldn't swing the P3s. There's Haley. They just stopped by to have lunch. So we have these all set and ready to go. Now what we're gonna do is, as you saw, the speakers weren't plugged in because we need to go up front, and we're going to put the disc in, and we're gonna do a little tuning action as far as clipping and fun stuff like that. Now when you're doing these amplifiers, make sure that you unplug the bass knob. Don't leave the bass knob plugged in. That has to be unplugged, as well as all the speakers need to be disconnected, because you're gonna be running test tones through them that the speakers will not like at all. So don't. Okay, you get it. I'm gonna be back here, he's gonna be up front. Let's have some fun. So on this, we're gonna do the sub amp first, which is going to be 40 hertz test track, 0 dB. We're gonna go ahead and turn the radio up until we get the clip light. Now make sure too, when you do this, that you set the EQ flat, turn off any time correction, any speaker level controls, loudness, turn all that stuff off. You don't need that stuff on for this. We just went through the head unit and deactivated all that. Let me know when you're good. Oh, where you at? 37. Go to 38? 38 is perfect. Let's go to track 7. You still at 37 or 38?
36.
Go back up one. So on this, we know that 38, 37 is the weak point on the radio. So the sub amp started to show clip at 37, so we know that's fine there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set our gain overlap for this amp and this amp. 0 dB is where we're at right now. What we wanna do is go ahead and set the sub amp up first, and we'll go to track 9. All right, so we're just about 5 dBs of overlap for the sub amp. This is at volume 0 on the subwoofer level control, so we know we have 10 levels of adjustment up from there, so I'm pretty sure we'll be fine with this because like when we just looked at it, he had it all the way up anyway, so we don't need to go crazy. Let's go ahead and set up the highs. The highs I like to do 5 dBs of overlap. So let's go to track 11. And I always like to make the fronts just a tad bit louder than the rears. We have them both on blue right now, which is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the rears down just a hair so the light goes out, so that I know that they're just a smidgen, just a tad bit less volume than the front. Now we have these guys set up, so we can go ahead now and we're gonna plug everything in and we're going to test the polarity, because make sure we didn't screw anything up when we wired these amps in. And we're gonna test the crossover just to hear how it sounds. What color you got?
I got green.
All right, so we have 4 greens. That's good. Move on to some other testing, like the crossover. All right, so here's a funny thing. So we're working on this car and we're doing the testing. And I kept hearing this funky noise coming from the back here. Let me demo it for you real quick so you can hear what I'm hearing. All right, hear that? So we heard that noise and I was like, it's not supposed to be making that noise. There's no reason for it to make that noise. Naturally, this comes into troubleshooting. So the first thing you want to do is switch front and rear, and it moves to the front. Same side, just moves to the front. And how we tested that is, you know, these unplug, so this makes it real convenient. Just unplug these, switch them, noise goes up there. And you're like, okay, so maybe it's a signal coming from the radio. Maybe it's a bad speaker. No, we know it can't be a bad speaker because 2 different speakers are now making the same noise. So we pulled the radio out of the dash real quick and we draped an RCA from the rear into here. Noise is still there. That's not right. I went and grabbed another amplifier. Now I didn't think for a minute it was the amplifier because we can move it around all the way. And we've changed it, and so it's like, what could it be? Well, the one thing about the amplifiers that I hate, which is ironic, I said that earlier, this guy right here, this is the problem. Somehow, somewhere in this compressed fitting life of RCA, this is internally shorted. Who knows? Either way, when we remove this and we install this, now quiet as a church mouse.
Everything back to normal.
Yeah, life is good. Helpful tip for you guys. That's why we wanted to make sure you guys saw this. Plus, you know, we had someone ask, hey, you know, show the problems that you run into. We really don't run into that many problems. The equipment's
not like this.
Not like this. This is something we just found. Not the end of the world, thankfully. It's easy fix. We just need to pull this one out, on zip tie it, and put in the new one. And we'll be back in business. And we can continue with the tune, man. Sweet.
Easy fix.
Easy fix. It only took us a half hour to figure it out. It's no big deal.
Yeah, no. But there you go.
All right, so that just goes to show you nothing is perfect in this world. So I'm going to tape this one back up. Fernando's going to shut the key off so we don't blow the output RCA resistor fuse thingy in this Pioneer radio. He's going to put that back together. All right, we got it all figured out. Tested it again. No noise. Life is great. Now we've already done time correction and EQ and all that fun stuff on this. Really the only thing, and that's because we did a previous system in it, so that's why all we had to do is retune the, you know, for clipping and stuff at the amplifiers. So we might need to do a little tweak on the EQ just to make up for it, but the time correction is done. We don't have to screw with that at all. So I went back and turned on all his settings that he had. The only thing we want to do is turn off the subwoofer, because remember, anytime you're testing your highs, you don't need a subwoofer. We got a ton of CDs here. He listens to some really funky stuff. So I'm gonna go up front. He's waiting, so I'm gonna go ask him what's his favorite CD so we can tune it again. I hate songs with long intros.
Yeah.
One other disc. Give me another disc.
Another one?
Yeah.
Do you want another gate crasher?
No.
No more gate crasher?
One techno is cool for me. What else do you listen to?
Let's see. How about Dream Theater? One of their Kinder albums from 1992. It's
Sure.
a lot of piano and
Whatever works for you. All right, cool. I just want to finish making sure we have the crossover points the way we need them to be. Seems like no song is immune to or no genre, I should say, to the long intro. We haven't even gotten to the singing yet. We're 48 seconds into this. It took 1:05 for this guy to actually start singing. Come on, man. You ain't Pink Floyd. Move this along. This this is so loud. I can't even hear myself talk. It's awesome. All right, guys, we are done with this one. This thing is stupid, and that was what he was going for. We were going for maximum loudness here. Now, we still did time correction. We still have it EQ'd. We still have all that, but the last time we did this, we put the 4-way punch 6x9s in there, plus there's tweeters in the dash. He likes it loud. He likes his loud music, as you heard from the samples that I played for you. Yeah, this thing is cool. It's nice. You saw what the amps look like. They turned out good. Everything's good. This is badass. And it's also the last car for us today, so I get to go to bed now if I'm editing, and you guys get to get on with your morning. So thanks for watching as always.
On to the next one.
You bet. See you.